Good morning. Welcome to church. My name is Sarah Wells. Our service leader today is the Dr. Reverend Lori Whittemore. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Saco in Biddeford. This service is being live streamed and recorded for those joining us on YouTube. We encourage you to have a candle or chalice to light when we light ours here in a few moments. Whoever you are, wherever you are, come from, wherever you come from, whomever you are, we are glad you are here with us today. The theme of the month of March is trust. We invite you to carry that theme with you as you are with us today and into your daily life as you leave. We commit to the co-stewards of this land owned by the Wabanaki Confederation and to work toward a world that is just and thriving for the whole of web of life. We invite you to take home the order of service for information, announcements, or you may leave it for recycling at the exit of the sanctuary. Please silence your cell phones. There will be a social hour in the parish hall after the service. We've got a couple of announcements to make. Also, after the service, there will be a committee fair for all to learn what happens in committees. Join us for coffee and kinship. And I believe Brian has something to say here too.
Why do we do what we do? For the past decade, we have shared our plate with a number of local organizations. As we finish year 10, we are approaching $25,000 that has been given out. I typically receive an acknowledgement letter from the recipient organization, usually just a form letter, occasionally a personal note of thanks handwritten on that form letter. Last week, I received a thank you from My Place Teen Center in Biddeford. This was not the usual note. The Teen Center sent a handmade card that the youth made that I want to share with you, a couple of the things. Donna says, "Dear Unitarian Church, thank you for caring about kids and sharing this collection with us. We are so honored. Happy spring." And that was from Donna. And also, "Hello, my name is Max. I'm 11 years old and go to Biddeford Middle School. I love coming to My Place Teen Center because of the sport activities and the good food. We play football and basketball, then enjoy a great meal after. Thank you so much for thinking of us. We appreciate all you do for the My Place Teen Center teens. Sincerely, Max." Sometimes we send money to a nonprofit and never know for sure what happens. On rare occasions, we get to put a name or a face on our support. Donna, Max, and the other 10 children that signed this card are why we do what we do. I will post this card on the bulletin board if you want to see it.
I have one additional announcement, and just repetitive from last week. Please be aware of who is sending you, asking you for money over the internet. Please be aware of that.
It's not me.
Yeah, it wasn't her.
As we gather in this sacred space this morning, we bring our hearts and minds to the celebration of Holi, or Holi, the Hindu festival that reminds us of the eternal triumph of good over evil, the awakening of spring, the power of love to transform our world. Just as colors blend to create new shades, we too blend our diverse traditions and beliefs, finding unity in our shared humanity. Welcome. Now please stand as you're willing and able and join me in singing hymn number 361.
This is a time for candles of joys and concerns. If there are any major, if you have joys or concerns you want to share, this is not for politics. It's just whatever is really heavy on your heart or your mind. Come up, you're invited to come up and light a candle.
Hi, my name is Wendy, and I lit the candle for Pat Snyder, who is laid up with a very broken leg, but still has her in great good cheer and positive attitude. So healing for a very, it's a hard break. So, and she's elderly, so we all wish her well and hope she's back with us soon.
Good morning. My name is Birdie, and we lost our family cat this week, so it's very heavy on all of our hearts.
I lit 2 candles this morning. One, remembering when I was young and raising a family, and if I had lost my job, what would I do? It still puts fear in my heart as to how I would support a family. And I just hope everything works out for those who have lost their jobs. As I light one last candle for the joys and concerns left unspoken, let us take a moment to hold what we have heard in our hearts.
Let's take a deep breath and enter into a spirit of reflection. Source of all creation, source of peace and comfort, source of joy and gifts. We are gathered into this space today to hold one another, and we are joyful for that. To have the opportunity to sit shoulder to shoulder and share each other's joys. And with that, the other side of that is we are also grateful to sit shoulder to shoulder and help boost one another as we experience the ups and downs of life. We shoulder in our hearts those who have lost this week, those who are sick this week, those who are injured. And we shoulder also through our deeds, through food and visits, those who need us. May we be reminded as we are joined together today that it isn't joy and thanksgiving and digging deep in our souls that we have the privilege and honor of walking side by side and caring for each other. And may we remember that is a sacred call. And may it be so.
The story of Prahlad. A long time ago, there was a demon king named Hiranyakutsa. He did a lot of meditation, got a special power from Lord Brahma. As per this power, he couldn't be killed by humans, animals, or weapons. He would not die during the day or night, neither on the earth or in the sky, and neither inside nor outside a house. Because of this power, Hiranyakutsa became very proud. He believed he was like a god, and he wanted someone to worship him. Hiranyakutsa had a son named Prahlad, who was a true devotee of Lord Vishnu. Prahlad refused to worship his father as a god. Prahlad only believed in Lord Vishnu. This made Hiranyakutsa very angry, and he ordered his servants to punish Prahlad severely. Hiranyakutsa made several attempts to kill Prahlad. He tried throwing him off a mountain, crushing him with elephants, mixing poison in his food, and even attempting to burn him alive with the help of his sister Holika. Holika had a boon that she could not be harmed by fire. She placed Prahlad on her lap and entered the fire with him. Holika got burnt, but Prahlad was unharmed. However, Prahlad believed in Lord Vishnu and trusted that he would keep him safe. True to his faith, Prahlad faced no harm from any of the punishments, and his devotion to Lord Vishnu deepened. In a final attempt to convince Prahlad, Hiranyakutsa called him to court and said, "If you want to avoid the punishment, call upon your God. Where is your God?" Prahlad said, "My God is everywhere in the world." Hiranyakutsa pointed to a pillar and asked, "Is your God in that pillar too?" "Yes, definitely," Prahlad confidently replied. Hearing this, Hiranyakutsa angrily attacked the pillar with his weapon. The pillar broke, and Lord Vishnu appeared in the form of Lord Narasimha. His face was like a lion, and his body was like a human. He was neither a complete human nor a complete animal. Lord Narasimha grabbed Hiranyakutsa, took him to the palace threshold, not inside or outside, and with his sharp claws defeated him. Prahlad's true devotion pleased God, and he asked him to make a wish. Prahlad wished to always stay devoted to God and follow the path of truth. God granted him his wish. As Prahlad grew up, he became a king, and while staying devoted to God, did all his duties well.
If you're able, and join me in singing De Calores.
Springtime of all its flowers.
Other than in song, I know we haven't gotten to the Festival of Colors, but we're going to get there now. So we gather today to recognize, in some ways, and participate in another tradition's religious and cultural celebration. We do so by learning a little about the holiday and the tradition, and then participating in some practices that are associated with the tradition and considering the many ways humans interact with spirituality and religion, to connect to something bigger than all of us, to connect with the source of all creation. As you use, our Universalist thread has evolved over time to include beyond just different ways to practice Christianity and believe in Christianity, but to also recognize and appreciate the validity of all traditions. This is both a religious and a cultural thing, recognizing each person and their inherent worth and significance, as well as their own belief system and their ability and encouragement to practice it and deepen themselves. So it is within our scope to consider other holidays and traditions, just like we did Islam a couple weeks ago, and talking about Ramadan and the practices involved in that. We can also, though, only get a glimpse, and yet I think it is important to get a glimpse of these other holidays, to open our minds and our hearts and remind us that there is yet more truth and light to break free beyond us, beyond our tradition. And so today, we recognize and celebrate Holi, the Hindu-Indian festival of colors. Now, it's a tradition that has mythological and cultural significance, and it's celebrated in two ways. One, by throwing dyes at people who are in white, or by putting colors on their faces or clothes manually, but also using spray bottles of dye and spraying it on people culturally. And they do that in their own country, and they do that all around the world. And we're going to talk a little bit about the meaning behind that, but rather than participate in throwing colors in deference to building and grounds, I've included a coloring activity for all of us to do to bring colors into this service. And that's a mandala, and that's something that's used in spirituality practices for the Hindus. It's a geometric design, often circular, as you will see, used in various spiritual traditions as a tool for meditation, focusing attention, and it represents the universal and the universe and sacred space. It's also a way to meditate and calm yourself down, which we all need right now. So I thought that was a good thing to include. Mandala is a Sanskrit word that translates to circle. It's believed to represent different aspects of the universe, including the interconnectedness of all things, wholeness, and the cycle of life and nature. It's used for meditation as a visual aid to focus attention and to bring us into a meditative state. That's a spiritual significance of it. Spiritual guidance serve as a tool for exploration and self-discovery. Sacred space, mandalas can be used to establish sacred space or represent a consecrated area. It's used in art therapy in Western culture as a form of reducing stress and anxiety. Art therapy is something that's come out as a modality, and mandalas are key to that. A part of Indian spirituality, enhancing spirituality, and sometimes reducing stress and anxiety, adds color into our space today in ways that don't bring dye. And it felt like the perfect way to connect us in our theme this morning. And I also want to take a moment to say a little bit about the ways of worship and connection to what is bigger than us. Religion and spirituality in general is more than just listening. We engage our spirituality and religion through all of our being. And those of us who are in traditions that are talk-centered or story-centered sometimes lose sight of that. I often refer back to Catholics getting this right, and Muslims getting it right. I mean, if you think about it, genuflecting, prostrating, touching rosary beads, incense, kneeling, all of those ways of engaging the body in a worship experience. It becomes muscle memory. It's not just about listening. It's about your whole body. And so using mandala, coloring, are ways to engage your senses in ways that we don't necessarily do in this sanctuary every day. So I thought if we started with that mandala and you used it while I was talking, you might integrate things a little differently. You develop neural pathways that engage your spirituality and nourish and connect. So let's do that. I invite you to do that. If you didn't get crayons, pen, you can get up and get crayons, or somebody can get crayons and pass them over. If you need crayons, raise your hand. Somebody will hand you crayons. So it's clearly not just a Catholic or Christian thing, it's universal, this bodily engagement with your spirituality. It's Islamic with the prostration, it's native dancing, sweat lodges, and for Hindus, it's meditation, crossing your legs, entering in a meditative state. And mandalas are that art form for coloring. And Holi is a holiday that also engages this, and it engages it in a lot of ways. It's certainly that joyful dancing, throwing color, but it's also other things. It's culture. It's not just spirituality. Outside of the formal religious practice, as a way of connecting to each other and to something larger, dancing, cooking, painting, singing, all deep in spirituality. And of course, those things can be tied to sacred arts. They can also be infused with sacred for those who don't connect to spiritual traditions. Sometimes just doing those things, connecting to nature, connecting to color, connecting to art, invites you into soul work that isn't necessarily about a creed or a confession. So this morning, in addition to learning a bit about Holi, we're engaging our bodies through mandala making. And now I want to give you some background about this holiday. We started with a story, and it's an interesting story. Holi is essentially the celebrating of various legends, not that one, but that one is a big one. There are many stories or mythologies that are shared. This is the predominant one because it teaches us two things, two central core things for Hindus. First, if we believe, we can see God in everything, God in all things. We are not separated from God. We are not separated from creation. We are a part of it all, and God is a part of it all. That's the first thing that Holi is, what's core to Holi. Second, the second big lesson is no matter how hard things get, we should always stick to the truth and do the right thing, just like Prahlad did in the story. Truth is always the path out of evil. So look for God in everything and stay focused on truth. Those are the two pieces of wisdom that come out of Holi. There are other myths and stories associated, but the story of Prahlad is the primary one. And Holi is actually short for Halikana, which was his sister who tried to burn him. She was in fact turned to ashes. Ashes are a part of putting the colors on people. And there are other myths that do involve colors more. But Holi also celebrates the legend of Radha and Krishna. It describes extreme delight and joy. And that's how some of these traditions came out for dancing in the streets and throwing colors. And still, as I understand it, the legend of Prahlad is primary to Holi. Holi is considered a secular holiday too, like Christmas for us, celebrated through India by Hindus and non-Hindus alike. The tradition of Holi includes that enemies are turned to friends, everybody is welcome at the table, forget any feeling of hardship that may be present, and on this day people do not differentiate between the rich and the poor, everybody is welcome at the table. Everyone celebrates the festival as equals with a spirit of kinship. In the evening, people visit friends and relatives, exchange gifts and sweets and greetings. This helps in revitalizing relationships, strengthening emotional bonds, bringing families together. Sounds to me like the ways Westerners have done this with Easter and Christmas and Passover and Ramadan. Religion adapted to culture, celebrating equally troubling stories, by the way. When I was researching on the web, and they said, you may not want to share this story with youth of prolid. And I thought about that, and I thought, that's curious, because in our Western stories, those are pretty gruesome as well, right? Like Easter, that can be really gruesome. Communion is pretty gruesome, eating the body and blood, drinking the blood of Christ. So I thought I would share the story because it really gives us grounding. On this day, everyone is equal, covered in the same colors, laughing the same laughs, sharing the same joy, rich and poor, young and old, all barriers dissolve. As you use, Holi serves as a powerful metaphor for our own values, right? Just as the festival breaks down social hierarchies and brings communities together, we too strive to create beloved community where all are welcomed and celebrated, where there is joy and kinship. The colors of Holi remind us of the diversity that makes our world more beautiful and vibrant, more complete. The practice of applying colors to one another during Holi carries a deep spiritual significance. It is an act of blessing, of recognizing the divine in all things, but also in each other, in every person we meet. When we mark another with color, we acknowledge their presence, their worth, the essence of their humanity, our connection to them. In this way, Holi teaches us to see beyond the surface, that our shared spirit is always one. And again, the two pieces of wisdom that is meant to impart and remind people of on a regular basis. God is everywhere, or source, or however you name it, or nature, or universe is everywhere. And we are a part of that. And the truth is always the righteous path. Buddhism came out of Hinduism. I often think about it. I don't know if scholars would say this, but Christianity is to Judaism as Buddhism is to Hinduism, sort of an outcropping and translation of laws into beliefs. And for Buddhism, truth is central. Studying the truth can transform all things. That's such a central tenet. It's interesting to me that after our service about Ramadan, I want to share this with all of you, a few people actually approached me. They reached out to talk to me about the reality of Islam and how it's lived out in relationship to women, for instance, and certainly people of a myriad of gender and sexuality expression. How the tenets of Islam may not translate to the word that Islam is. Islam means peace. And that is probably true in the Hindu culture as well. The core values may not necessarily play out in interpretation or application in society. They do have ritual burnings and things like that of people. But we in Christianity, or I don't want to say we, me as a Christian in my path, we have those as well. So learning about other traditions and other celebrations, I don't want to poo-poo the fact that there's other things that go on, but they go on for all of us, not just people who are different from us. And that's why I feel like it's important for us to acknowledge the validity of other traditions as well as the things that might take away from them. Every tradition has followers who use their beliefs to justify violence and oppression. I don't want to minimize that here or whitewash it, as it sometimes seems like a liberal tradition can do. Like, let's just celebrate all the great things in every tradition. Let's forget that there are tough things, but let's not forget that tough things are everywhere, just as God is everywhere, just as Creator is everywhere. But there are core truths that are contextualized to cultures that unify them. Many are joyful and beautiful, even when they're based on these creepy tales. Holi is both a holiday of religious and spiritual significance and a secular holiday, and that is to celebrate, enjoy the culture and spirituality of India and around the globe. Today, in some small way, we are connecting that joy by kinship of being together, of having coffee afterwards, the physicality of drawing color, bringing color into the sanctuary. And so I want to share with you the greetings of Holi. May your day be as vibrant as your spirit. I wish that for all of you. In every hue, find a reason to smile. Where laughter meets color, magic happens. May your life be as colorful as the rainbow and filled with endless happiness and success. May the festival of colors bring joy, laughter, and love to all. May the spectrum of colors motivate you to be more creative in your life. May the festive spirit of Holi make you happier than ever. May this Holi bring you moments filled with laughter and jubilation. May your life be filled with colors. May you have joy and prosperity and bring that back to your home. And may all of those things be so. And I'm just going to do a quick meditation with all of you in the spirit. So I invite you, you can keep coloring if you want, but put your feet flat on the floor and join me in a deep breath. And take a moment to imagine the vibrant colors of Holi. Deep purple for royal wisdom. Yellow of knowledge and learning and joy. Green of nature's renewal and bounty that surrounds us. Red of love and energy. Blue of divine truth. Like these colors, we contain all multitudes of all things. All is present in us. So let's take just a few seconds of silence and appreciate the many hues that make up our own being. And may it be so. This always feels like a little awkward of a transition, but when we gather together as a community, we bring the gifts of ourselves, our hearts, our spirits, our time and energy, our talents and our skills to support the work of this church here within our walls and out in the larger community. In service to this beloved community, we commit to be in relationship, and that does mean together here, but it also means bringing what we can to support the community. We also bring our gift of generosity, giving of what we have so the work of this church can continue. Half our offering is sent out into the larger community. Thank you to Brian to sharing my Place Teen Center. They just opened in Biddeford and they're doing amazing work. This month we're sharing with MUUSAN, Maine Unitarian Universalist State Advocacy Network, who are doing more legislative and systemic advocacy for us. If you're watching from home, donations may be made through the Give button at the top of the webpage, uuchurchsacobiddeford.com, or checks may be mailed to UUCSB, 60 School Street, Saco, Maine, 04072. This morning's offering will now be received. Please join me in the words for extinguishing our chalice. Ways. And remain standing and join me in singing hymn 118, This Little Light of Mine. seated. As we leave this sacred space today, may we carry the spirit of Holi with us. Its joy, its inclusivity, its reminder that love and faith conquers fear, and that light does indeed overcome darkness. Let us remember that, like the color of Holi, we too can spread beauty and joy wherever we go. And let's commit to do that. May we go forth to color our world with love, to break down barriers and divide us, and to celebrate the magnificent diversity of human experience and expression. And may we remember that in our differences lies our strength, and in our unity lies our power. Blessed be, and namaste. Thank you for coming. Our service is now concluded. Again, we have a committee fair in the parish hall and wonderful kinship with all of you. Please join us there and also remain seated for Paul's postlude.